in the meantime, let me just open the meeting. This is the Community Preservation Committee. I'm the chairman, Harriet Davis. This is the meeting of Thursday, February 16th, 2023. It is on Zoom. It is recorded. All votes will be by roll call. With that said, the next item is public comment. Is there anybody from public comment? Joe?
Just taking a quick look. I do not see any hands raised.
Okay. All right. So now we'll go on to the next items, which are about our fund balances. And Steve Poulos, our town administrator, has some very good news for us. You'd like to fill us in, Steve?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So as we discussed last time, we were working to, go back a number of town meetings and reconcile the CPA balances for the CPC. And we've done that. And the result of that is those totals that I sent to you in the email. So the total is the $3,834,865.51.
What a fortune has just been, it's almost 2 million more, 1.7 more than we previously expected. So Steve, your confidence in these, and at town meeting, you will give us the list of adjustments that have to be made.
Yeah, that's correct. Like I said, the accounting was sound. The biggest discrepancy was the CPC reconciliation sheet that have been utilized for several years was effectively, after we went through all the warrants, tied back the audit, the previous audits, trying to build a crosswalk into the fund balance. We were able to identify that the way the spreadsheet was set up was always double deducting the unspent allocations, and the unspent allocations are
the 911,000.
Yeah, it fluctuates year to year, but yeah, currently, right, 911,000, 17,000 actually for 24.
But my question was simply that you and Jamie will prepare for the warrant where we will have to vote some of these allocations, will we not?
Yep. So the 3 or 4 bullet points I put in the email down the bottom for adjustments, those will come through. Those will come through in the warrant. KP Law is working on the draft warrant, and would once we get the numbers tonight, we can plug those in. We'll be good to go by next week.
Wonderful. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate all the hard work, and I'm glad I pressed you to persevere. Yes, Rick?
Appreciate the patience, and sorry it took so long.
Madam Chair, thank you, Steve, for getting those numbers. Can we just officially have those entered into the record of tonight's meeting? So
wait, I have a question. Are these, Steve, unencumbered funds, the totals that we're seeing?
Yes.
Okay, so that's unencumbered. And so the 911 or 917 is exclusive of this. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question.
Just getting back to my point, may I, to make sure they're.
Yes, Rick, I think as soon as I answer another question, I'll read them in if you like.
Thank you. Or at least hand them off to the secretary who I do not see tonight.
Is Catherine Tinsley here
tonight? I do not see her here.
No, I don't think she is. She will do the minutes from the recording.
Okay, I didn't know if we were waiting for her or if she wasn't going to make it. Okay, thank you.
No, I don't think so. So with that being said, what Steve provided us, I've just lost, here it is for CPA fund balance, $1,938,066.32. For open space and recreation, $998,524.15. For historic preservation, $98,430.23. For community housing, $187,512.52. And budgetary reserve, $612,332.29, for a total, if my math is correct, of $3,834,864. Steve, does that sound correct?
That agrees with the balances I have in front of me, yes.
Good.
Mr. Chairman. Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
Leo.
I have a question on Steve's report, just so I can clear it up in my own mind. Am I to understand that historic preservation, 98,000 and some odd dollars, cannot be hijacked by historic or open space or recreation or anything else? Am I to understand that the community housing of 187,000 some odd dollars can't be hijacked by historic or
That's right, Leo.
okay, but the 998,000 that open space has that we've been saving up because we haven't bought a piece of old space yet, can that be hijacked?
Well, by recreation,
It could be hijacked by recreation.
because that is the category now.
If it was, and a piece of open space came up in the next year or so, we wouldn't have that 98,000 if that happened.
Well, let's see how the evening progresses.
But I'm saying if it happened,
Mhm.
then it wouldn't be there for open space. But that's the way it
Conceivably.
is. I just want to get that straight in my mind.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for letting me ask the question.
okay, Rick?
From that, Leo, I would think that the budgetary reserve, isn't that allowed to be used across purposes? Madam Chairman, because I'm kind of new at this, I'm kind of reading up on it. So
Yeah, we will use that up,
we would be able to use that up for other purposes, Leo.
right?
I
For the-
understand that.
Yeah.
It's quite
I
a few
have made
purposes.
my own hen scratchings on how we can allocate, but it will all be up to the committee to go along.
There's
So
quite a few purposes in front of us this year. But go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
that's okay, Leo. So with that being said, I think we should go on to discuss our various applications. If everybody is confident in essentially $3.8 million we have right now. Any other questions or comments? Okay, now moving forward, it came to my attention that we ought to go back to all of our applications and just go over the two that we passed over from the town of Wenham, and that we should just take a vote to confirm that decision. So that we should have a roll call vote on our decision on the town of Wenham's application for the town hall HVAC project for $500,000. So is there anybody who, let's see, how many people want to support that? My motion is we are passing over. We are not accepting this application.
Would a motion be in order to approve it or to disapprove it or either one?
Well, that's what we have to think to get the wording correct. If you'd like to make a motion to pass over this,
Pass over it or disapprove it?
all right, say disapprove it.
Well, I'd like to move, we disapprove that appropriation.
Is
I
there
would
a second?
second it. Second,
Okay, all those in favor? Let's see, Rick,
Yes.
Trudy,
Yes.
Alden,
Yes.
John.
John,
He's
you're
muted.
muted.
Sorry. No.
Susan
yes.
and Leo, sure you're
Yes.
yes. Janet,
Yes.
did I miss anybody? Therefore, that item was not approved for funding this year. The next one is a similar one from the town of Wenham for $45,000 for the security upgrade project. Somebody like to make a motion on that one?
I'll make a motion to pass over the security upgrade.
Okay, is there a second?
Second,
And is there any discussion? If not, are we ready to vote? Rick,
Right. To pass over, yes, to pass over.
Trudy?
Yes.
I just go around the pictures on my screen, if you wanted my order. John,
No.
Alden,
Yes.
Susan,
yes,
Leo.
Do I understand this vote is to disapprove that security system or by passing over? Is that what we mean? Then
Yes,
it's yes.
Janet.
Yes.
Okay, I guess that's everyone. And I vote yes too on that. So, all right, so we've cleared up that little business that was hanging over us. Now, the next one we have is our old friend from the town of Wenham, the town hall renovation project debt for $112,725.
I move we pay it.
Second.
I'll second that, yeah.
Okay, are we, any comments? Are we ready to vote? Rick,
Yes,
Alden,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Trudy,
Yes.
Susan,
yes,
Leo,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes.
Okay, now the next part of it is we have to say where we're taking that money from. And since historic preservation has $98,430, I propose that we take all of that 98,000 and the balance from the CPA fund balance.
the reserve, Madam Chairwoman,
no
Uh-huh.
balance.
balance.
Does that mean the budgetary reserve?
No, I'll tell you why, because the way the budgetary reserves, I had another idea for that. But the CPA fund balance is almost $2 million, and we're only talking about, what, 15,000?
I'm
The
sorry,
difference
where are you
between-
proposing to take the extra money from?
From CPA fund balance.
Oh, okay.
So it won't wipe
Okay.
it out.
We'll wipe out historic preservation for this year. Okay,
But it won't wipe out the 98,000.
Yes,
I'm
it
sorry?
will.
Yes.
Yeah, Leo, the
Okay.
98,000's gone. If
the
this passes.
98,000 is gone, evaporated, right?
Where did it go? Did we just vote
It's
it
going
out?
into this
No.
motion to pay the town hall debt.
Well, how much is it every year?
The town hall
Well,
debt
sometimes it's
is,
been twice this amount. We did
No, that's-
refinance some
How
years
much is
ago,
it this year? How much is it this year?
if I can speak to Leo.
112,000.
Leo, this year it's 112,725.
All right.
So
It
So
had
the
been-
98,000, so the
Yeah.
Okay.
98,000 coming out of
I
historic
made-
preservation would bring
I made a
historic
motion- I
preservation
made-
to zero.
Excuse me, I made a motion to approve it. But I think I should have made a motion to how to get it. Like I meant to move to take half of it out of half of the 112 out of that's put aside the 98 and the other half out of the budgetary reserve.
Well, that's, no, I'd like it to come out of CPA fund balance, the difference.
Well, we all need to vote on that.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was,
so
so
I need
out
a,
of the,
I need a clarification, Madam Chairwoman.
Yes.
I divided this, I made a little spreadsheet myself using Steve Poulis's numbers. And the buckets, I kind of call them buckets for lack of a better term. I have
Mhm.
our open space and recreation, historic preservation, community housing, and then a budgetary reserve.
do you
Is it
not
a
have a
fifth-
CPA fund balance?
Is there a fifth
Yes.
column? on top
Yes,
of that?
Yes,
CPA fund balance.
How much is that?
1,938 and change.
Oh,
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Madam
So-
Chair, I have a question.
Yes,
I'm just wondering what is behind the decision to take the extra money either out of the CPA fund balance or the budgetary reserve? Is there?
well, it has to come out of one. I'll tell you right now, just off the record, for budgetary reserve, you will notice that there is 612,000 in there. Now, let me see, what was I thinking? If we take out, we're going to take out 200, well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. We ought to use the budgetary reserve first. So if you want to take it out of there, is somebody got a good calculator and can keep running totals for us? Joe, can you do that?
Yeah,
Okay, so for historic preservation, we've taken out the 112, oh, I see, yep, okay, 112,000. And the difference from the 98,000,
It's 14,295.
okay? And we should take that out of budgetary reserve for the time being. Use that one up first.
May I make a
Mhm.
recommendation?
Yes.
As we go through this, we either need to raise our hands to speak, or Harriet as chair ask us if we have anything and go around the room. It's getting confusing. We're all talking over each other. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, all right, so now, so that is the second, well, that's the application for the town hall debt. The next one is for the Affordable Housing Trust, which is looking for $600,000.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did we vote on that and where we were taking it out? I missed that.
Okay.
We didn't
that's
finish that vote.
I guess you're
didn't think
right.
We finished that vote.
Okay, so who made the motion? Leo?
Yes, but I didn't say where it was coming from.
Okay, well, why don't
I
you
think-
amend your motion to say where it's coming from? Alden?
So that million nine that we have, that we call the fund balance, that's not the total of these other pre-prescribed. That's over and above these four that are grandfathered.
Correct.
I'd like to move, we take it out of the fund balance then.
Well, we have to move whether we want to do it or not, the 600.
No, we're not there yet, Susan.
I move that we.
I've had my hand up. Can I ask a question? Of the
Yes,
chair?
Yes,
Could
Alden.
you just succinctly, please tell us, Harriet, what is your thinking as to why the extra 14,000 would come out of the CPA fund balance and not the budgetary reserve?
well, we want to use the budgetary reserve, and the way the numbers added up, it seemed that we could take something for the six, never mind, it doesn't really matter. Which at this point, we're going to use up the budgetary reserve one way or the other. By the way, at the end of the year, if there were money in budgetary reserve, it gets swept into the CPA fund balance. This is,
Oh, thank you for that clarification, Madam Chair.
okay. So Leo, do you want to redo your motion? Any
I'd
way
like
you
to-
want, it's fine with me. Just as long as Joe gets it out of the correct bucket.
I'd like to move that we approve paying the town hall debt. And then we take it out of we take the money out of the budgetary reserve.
And historic preservation.
It's only 112,000. There's plenty of money in the budgetary reserve.
Yeah, but we should go to the bucket from which it belongs. Because you can't use that money for anything else. So we want to use the 98,430.
You're saying use that first, and the
Yes.
balance of 14,000 comes out of budgetary reserve.
So
Correct.
you want to wipe out historic reservation.
Yes,
Yes.
Well, I don't have a problem with that. I'll move that we pay the town hall debt with the money we have in historic preservation and the balance we take out of budgetary reserve.
Is
I'll
there a
second.
second?
I
Thank
second.
you, Rick. Okay, are we ready to vote on this?
I have a question.
Yes?
I'm sorry, I'm new. How does the historic preservation build back up if we use it all tonight?
Well, we'll get more money in another year. 10% of everything that we get in the future will go into historic preservation. And 10% into community housing and 10% into open space.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so,
Mr. Champ, I understand if there's not enough, we can always get it out of the fund balance.
that's right. Okay, so therefore, are we ready to vote? Rick,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes,
Susan,
Yes,
Trudy,
Yes,
John,
Yes,
Janet,
Yes,
Alden.
Yes.
Okay, good. One down. Excellent. Okay, now the next one is for the Affordable Housing Trust. They're looking for 600,000. They asked, they sent around, oh, by the way, they weren't the only people to send around letters. They sent around a very nice letter. I hope you all got it and had a chance to read it.
Yes.
In which what I found most riveting is where they pointed out the high number of people in Wenham who are under financial duress. And I think that's something some of us might not have been really aware of before. Does anybody have any comments? I know Margaret is here. We have any questions on that letter?
Chairman,
Yes.
I read the letter and it was kind of convincing to me that aid for residents that might be in need to repair their houses or some, are under the limit for income that they're in need. So I think the Affordable Housing Trust ought to have some money in their fund to be able to help these people.
Okay. Yes, Rick.
I agree, Leo. I just wondered if we can put any restrictions on the funding, that it would have to be used for or not for certain purposes. Is that allowed under our
We've never
CPC?
done that in the past. They've made an application. They've told us what they want to do with the money.
My thing is, my only thing is I like it to be used on new projects, to move forward with new ideas and new projects. I know Win and his group have a lot of great new ideas. I really want to support them and move that stuff forward.
Margaret,
I
what do you
think
think?
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I just don't know if we can put that kind of restriction.
So CPC funds are restricted in certain ways anyway. They have to be used for the creation and preservation of affordable housing, which also means that it can be used to assist people to maintain housing. And then quite often what we can do is get affordable restrictions on houses that we do help fix up. So I'm not sure that you can add additional restrictions.
My only thing is, Margaret, where I'm
Yeah.
coming from is
What do
the
you
town's already over $1 million into Maple Woods, and I think that's a great investment.
Sure.
I just want to see that we diversify and don't put all our eggs in one basket
Oh,
on that project, so that we're looking at new alternatives.
Oh,
to
I
help
see.
Oh, yeah.
young people. that we look
So
for new
like,
projects.
rather than a project that's already been funded?
Correct, correct, by the town or
Yeah.
however.
All
it
right,
is
I
funded.
have a thought here. We could add it. If KP Law doesn't like it, they'll strike that portion of it.
Thank you.
So with that being said, Rick, would you like to make a motion on this? And did you
Yes,
know
I'd
where
like-
you want the money from?
Yes, it's gonna, yes. I'd like to make a motion that the CPC award a grant of $600,000 to the Affordable Housing Trust for the purpose of creating new interesting programs to help the affordable housing situation in Wenham. And I'd like to have that pulled out of the CP fund.
Well, should we not take,
Yes, correct. Yes, Madam Chairman, from the community housing
Housing.
first, and then the rest, the 112, yes. And the rest
Good.
out of the, yes, sorry, thank you.
yeah, so we'll take 187 out of, and the balance from budgetary reserves. Joe, do we still have money there?
No, the rest from CP fund, Val?
Okay, I do want to make certain we use up budgetary reserve.
Oh, we have a lot of things to spend on tonight.
No, but let's do the math here.
Well, Joe, how much do we have in budgetary reserve? Have we taken anything out of it yet?
Not for the
14,
town.
my note's 14,295.
Okay.
So we're
Right.
about 598.
Oh, so another 600 would just clean that out.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, with a what, a 2,000 having to come from CPA fund balance. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Great, awesome. So that would be the motion.
Okay, good.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Hold on. So you're not going to take anything out of community housing?
No,
That's my question, too.
187,512 first. And then the
Okay.
reserve balance down to
Oh,
zero.
well, that's right. And then the difference.
Then the balance
Yeah.
out of the CP fund is,
Right. So it's, so we wipe out the community housing, 187,512, and then the delta we
Yes.
take out of budgetary reserve, right?
Right.
yes, ma'am.
And Joe will
And how
tell us
much is left in budgetary reserve?
Yeah. How
How
much?
much is left in budgetary
I
reserve?
agree. I'm asking Joe that very question.
Yeah.
Um,
About 87,000. That's just my mental math.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Right.
All right. Okay, now the next one
Oh,
is.
Wait, we haven't voted.
That's it, we haven't,
Oh, okay.
has not been
Good.
seconded yet?
And we need this discussion.
All right, did we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and discussion? Trudy?
My discussion question is, Joe, how much is left in budgetary reserve after the motion of bringing community housing down to zero and taking the delta out of budgetary reserve?
Sorry, I just have a little computer trouble here. So let me. All right.
Days like wish this you had your old adding machine to tape, anybody?
I do, actually.
All right. 600. All right, so that's 600,000 minus 187, 512.
Right.
2. So that leaves 412,000, 487, 48,
Carry the 3.
12, 332, 29 minus 12.
I'm getting like 186 left.
Yep.
I had 199. Maybe I did the calculation wrong here.
Okay, but budgetary reserve, I've hit it, that's 612, 332, 29, for 14,295, which was part of Leo's thing. I have a total there of 598,037.29.
Yep.
And then we're taking the community housing less 600, and then the rest out of budgetary reserve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that will be less 412, 487.48. So I have a balance, this is my balance and budgetary reserve. If we take that out of 185, 549.81. I may be wrong, but
Nobody ever hires me for my math skills, so I'm just keeping quiet.
Mhm.
Does everybody get that? Rick?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, so we have a motion, we've seconded it, we've discussed it. Any other discussions? Yes, Trudy?
I have a question. Last week during Wen's presentation, he mentioned about some of these new programs or projects that this could possibly be used for. And one of them was, an example, was a house over, I think in Parsons Hill, that the woman's not able to keep up with it. And he said maybe it's something that they could buy. If that program goes in that direction, would there, and I don't know if this is for us to decide tonight or not, is that something that there are stipulations on it, that if it's sold, that money comes back to the housing trust? Or if people are just getting money to enhance their property and it increases the value and they sell it for a lot more money that we've helped them out with, are there going to be any stipulations? And maybe that's not for us to decide tonight or know about, but it's
Margaret,
just.
do you have a comment?
I do. I just have some thoughts on it. Most of the programs that the Affordable Housing Trust would initiate would be a loan program. They would
Okay.
typically be low or no interest loans to homeowners who qualify under certain guidelines. And then the money is paid back if homes are sold, similar to like the first time home buyers program. If we give help with down payments, when they sell the house, that money comes back to the trust. What we did last year, the trust purchased a house on Stockwell Drive. So in essence, the Affordable Housing Trust loaned the money to the LLC to purchase that. So it's the money stays in the trust. It moves around. There's a couple of financial nuances that I don't understand completely, but the money does usually come back to the trust.
Okay,
Good.
thank you. I appreciate that. That makes me feel
Okay,
better.
yes, Alden.
Margaret, thank you for your work. Are the loans always secured with an interest on the property?
Alden, I'm not sure about that,
It's most
You think-
likely a lien
but I
on it.
believe they are. Yeah, that I most likely they are. That if
I would not
yeah.
be in favor of personal loans because those can be
No.
defaulted on.
Oh,
But
no, of
the
course.
funds, if they're secured with a lien on the property,
Yeah.
the money
Yeah,
is
and-
pretty safe.
I'm certain town council wouldn't let us do something like that
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
without
Right,
security.
okay. Are we ready to vote on this?
Yes.
Okay, Rick,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes,
Susan,
yes,
Trudy,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Alden.
Yes.
I vote yes, and so that carries unanimously.
Thank you all
Oh.
very much.
Yes,
Thanks for your nice
indeed.
work, Margaret.
Excellent. Okay, now we come down to the regional school district. I might add, I don't know how many of you were copied, but my inbox has been inundated with a variety of very similar emails, all in support of the athletic fields. Anyway, they've lobbied very hard. In addition, we also had email from Jay Butler, head of the Hamilton CPC. And in case you hadn't seen it before, I sent it to everybody today. Did you all see it?
Yes.
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 Okay. So therefore, do we have a motion to fund the Hamilton Wenham Regional School District's application for athletic facilities improvements at the high school? Leo?
Mrs. Chairman, Commission member Burt asked some interesting questions, several interesting questions at the last meeting that the superintendent had to agree with.
Mhm.
And that made me think that this project should wait a few years until the answers to those questions could be answered. So I would move not to approve that 800,000 for the turf fields.
Wait, how much what's the dollar amount? We
800,000.
I know, but that's the whole thing. Could we discuss the amount before we get to a vote?
They're asking for 800,000.
Madam Chair, may I speak?
Yes, John.
So if you saw Jay Butler's email
Mhm.
and the discussion came up, I think Susan, you brought the point up at the when Rick Tracy was talking, the amount that we should be talking about is 400,000.
Right.
Right. And I also believe in that email, he made the Hamilton grants contingent on the Wenham, which is historically what we've always done, so that one town isn't left holding the bag, so to speak, if the other town doesn't. So,
Madam Chair, just
yes.
further on those contingencies, which I read from his note, is the money is also contingent on approval at the Hamilton town meeting, as well as the following town vote. So there is a number of contingencies built in,
Right.
to protect the CPA funds if the application doesn't go forward.
So it looks,
Harriet, could I comment on what
Sure.
Leo was talking about?
yes,
As you know, I feel very strongly against turf fields for all the reasons I brought up before. And I agree with Leo, but I talked to a couple of people and I wonder, could we, if we were to vote X amount of dollars, could we stipulate that could only be used for the tennis courts, let's say, or the track, neither of which is turf fields? My
oh, I
concerns
think
are
you're going to
with-
find out. CPA, I don't believe, could actually fund the turf field itself.
No, I
Correct.
already know that, Harry, but that's
Okay.
not, but we can fund the basic, the underneath part. We can't do the action. I did a lot of research on this last summer. I read all, and I talked to Stuart about it.
Yep.
I just don't want any of our money. I don't think we should be doing turf fields. I think Leo's absolutely right that they need to be waiting. Because as I said last week, or whenever we met, the NFL is now, unions are petitioning to no longer play on turf. The city of Boston has banned turf fields. So Hamilton Wenham's in a funny position right now about this, which is why but on the other hand, one way or another, the taxpayers are going to pay for this one, and it's going to happen. But I'd be happy to give them $400,000 if we could stipulate it could only be for the piece of the pie that does the tennis courts or the track.
Now, once again, if my suggestion is that if that's the will of the group, that we put that in, and you can count on Lauren Goldberg to strike it out at KP Law if it's not appropriate.
But then it should come back to us for another vote. Because I agree with Janet. I mean, I'm not a football person, but I saw what was happening during the Super Bowl and how they were having to change cleats because of painting on the field and everything else. These kids don't have the ability to change cleats or go through 3 pairs of shoes. And I don't want to, I have a problem. I don't want to be a part of funding a turf field for a whole raft of reasons, but I would like to fund the tennis and that kind of thing. So that's
Okay, John?
Yes. Just a point of clarification that the Super Bowl was played on a grass field, not a turf field.
they were saying it was turf, and where they painted, and they were having problems.
No, it was a grass field. It was.
True. And Wimbledon's grass too.
But they were having a tremendous problem with slipping and
Oh, all right.
changing cleats, and you're
Because
absolutely
they kept
right.
calling it turf.
Right.
And now when I hear turf, my husband's hears turf. He thinks green grass. I hear turf now, and I
Right.
think some plastic conglomerate of stuff.
Right.
And that
But
confusion is not a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Right, right.
But getting back to Jane's point and your point, Susan, the money can go towards the tennis court. It can go towards things like accessibility to the field. So there are many areas that we could look at that would be outside of the turf itself, which, as everyone had said, the money cannot be used for that part of the project.
Right,
It-
okay.
It
So is there a
can be
motion?
used- It cannot be used for the turf itself, but it can be used for the basis of the turf. And
Right.
I'm not interested in funding anything that has to do with that turf field.
Would someone
Because
like
I
to
think
make a
it's-
motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve funding of 400,000
Mhm.
for the Hamilton Regional School District for their high school athletic facilities improvement project, with the stipulation that the money go towards items such as tennis courts, accessibility, and the track.
Mhm.
Second,
Second.
Okay, now we have a motion that's been seconded. Any more discussion on this? If not, are we ready to vote? Rick,
Yes.
Janet,
yes,
Leo,
Wimbledon didn't cost 400,000, so I vote no.
okay. Susan,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
Alden,
Yes.
Trudy.
Yes.
Okay, so we have one, and I vote yes, so one negative. All right, well, that's wonderful. Now, but where's the money going to come from?
I say take it out of CPA fund balance.
I would second that.
Okay. Any discussion? If
Somebody
not,
get the pencils working.
I'm sorry.
Somebody get their pencils working.
I'm out of it. I've got more ink on around me.
Okay,
Hey.
so the motion is to fund the school athletic programs with certain restrictions for up to $400,000 from CPA fund balance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second. I'll be ready to vote. Rick,
Yes.
Yes.
Janet,
yes.
Leo,
As long as
Leo?
it doesn't come up, as long as it doesn't open space budget.
it's
It
not coming
won't.
out of open space.
I abstain.
Okay, who said that?
I abstain.
Leo.
Leo.
Leo abstained, okay, so noted. Susan,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
Alden,
Yes.
Trudy.
Yes.
Okay, phew, wonderful, excellent. So that now brings us down to the museum and their project to make a town common in front of the museum for $87,255. Is there a motion?
Could we have a little discussion first? Is that okay? Is it
Oh,
technically,
sure.
do we have to have a motion on the floor?
Yeah, well, I'd like to have a motion that we have discussion after. Let's put the motion on the floor.
Oh, I'd like
Any-
to, go ahead. No, I think I'm gonna skip this. Sorry.
Is there anybody who wants to move this for the moment?
Mrs. Chairman, I'll move that we approve it and we take the money out of historic preservation.
There is no money. We cleared that
It's all
out.
gone, Leo.
go on.
Then,
So it would have to come out of CPA fund balance, I believe, or unless there is still some down in budgetary reserve, isn't there?
There is enough to fund it from there, yes.
There's
Yeah.
185, 549, I
thought.
believe.
So that
Okay.
would leave 100 if we took that out. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
No, yeah,
Second,
Okay, Now, discussion. Rick,
I think this is an awesome idea. I think it's awesome. I think our downtown does need to have some kind of cohesive place where people can gather at special events, at times of trouble, also times of celebration. But I think we should look at it as an overall plan for downtown, and a private-public partnership between the stakeholders around the downtown area and the town of Wenham, because the master planning process is in bloom right now. And I think this is a great opportunity to really revitalize the downtown district. And I'd hate to see us do it piecemeal and then having to be like, oh, why did we do that? Or could we have done it better? So that's my discussion. That's all I really have to say. on it, but
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me to speak.
all right. Anybody else have a comment?
Yeah,
Mhm. Susan?
I think that's a really good point that Rick just made, is that it should be part of the master plan, and all of these little postage stamp things are probably not the appropriate thing to do at this time. And that's not what I was going to say. What I would like to say is I would like to increase what the museum called for, because my understanding of the reason that their HVAC system was not completed is because they didn't get a check from the town of Wenham. And I would like to fund enough money so they can complete the HVAC system that the CPA funds were going to fund.
Okay.
Wait, Leo, help me here. I thought we funded that last year.
You did fund
Yes.
it, but they never got the check. Never
And the
came
mo-
out of
and-
town hall.
And costs escalated. So they didn't have enough to build. I think they wanted 2 units and they only had enough money for 1.5. But the other point of it is about the
Point of
master
order.
plan. Is that the master
Point of o-
plan, just a moment, please. The master plan isn't going to be implemented right now. And the museum wants this for their 100th anniversary, and they're prepared to do this immediately.
Comment?
Okay. Alden?
Yes, just a point of order on the comment about the air conditioning system. Is that really
Yes.
appropriate for us to be talking now? That's not on our agenda, is it?
No.
I think the only reason I made a comment was because I thought I remembered incorrectly. I thought we funded that last year. And Susan said they didn't get a check. And then Harriet added and explained that when they got the check, the prices had gone up and they couldn't complete it. So I don't,
That's essentially the story. Yes, Joe?
I just want to say, according to the spreadsheet I have, again, I'm sorry, my Excel's a little slow tonight, but under the the one I have unspent allocations, it looks like there's still 47,000 for that project. I'm not sure why they haven't received the check. I'm happy to look into that, but I wanted just to point that out to the committee.
No,
Okay,
they got
thank you.
they got a check, but there was such a long delay, like a long time getting the check, that the prices escalated during this whole COVID thing, and everybody was putting in air conditioning. So they
Okay,
just
but
received the check.
But picking up on Alden's point, that isn't really what we're discussing
No,
right
that's
now.
right. I'm sorry. That's me.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, Leo.
Harriet, with regards to the application, we have several historic buildings in the center of town, the City Hall, and of course, the museum is no less important than any of the others. And the fellow committee man who mentioned just a minute ago that doing this piecemeal is probably not the way to do it. Now, I think that landscape plan that was shown to us during the application, it looks to me like it's going to, some of those plants are going to grow and hide the museum itself. I think we should wait for, like a fellow committee man suggested a minute ago, for some type of a master landscape plan.
Okay, I'd like to point out one thing, is that this is a private organization and they can just go ahead and raise the money and do it anyway. I don't think we could stop it. They would have to come to the Historic District Commission for approval. But it isn't like the town hall. It isn't, I don't think it really is part of the master plan. I don't see how they would
Right.
even agree to that.
They are a stakeholder in the master plan. They've been interviewed and they are part of the whole group moving
Okay.
forward. And I agree with you, Madam Chairwoman, that they could potentially do this on their own. And I think we've been very generous over the past decade with CPA funding with their museum. And so my thought is just they can hold off another year even while
Yeah,
we
but
have
they
other
want to do it
priorities.
because of their 100th anniversary. It's a sort of a focal point for them.
Mhm.
Yes, John?
I also think it's a valid point that's been brought up. I wonder if, just to your point, Madam Chair, if we were to go forward and fund this project, if there was a way to coordinate what their project, how it proceeds with the master plan that's under development and for the downtown area. So in other words, whatever the museum decides to do, there's a way to make sure that it is in keeping and parallel to whatever we're planning to do for our downtown master plan.
Peter Clay?
Yeah, I just want to support Rick Woodland. And
Wait, I'm sorry. I didn't know we took comments other than the
I
comment section.
I agree with Janet. We've got
I agree.
There's no comments
From the
other
planning
than the
board.
Okay.
committee
All
right
right,
now.
sorry, Peter. Yes, Alden?
Yes, Madam Chair, to the point, the fact that the museum is private property, but they are proposing creating what sounds like a beautiful outdoor community meeting space. Is the outdoor community meeting space going to be open the same hours and under the same access terms as town-owned parks and playgrounds? Or is it going to be restricted to being available only during the hours that there is somebody, staffing the museum? I think that's an important piece of information to know, because we're being asked to provide so much of the cost of it.
I agree.
So,
That's a really good point.
It is.
Excuse me, but I think her presentation last week said that it would have different access points so that the public could access it. And I got the impression after hours.
I
That was
agree.
just my
I
understanding.
remember that as well, Trudy, yes.
You're right, Trudy. She said something about access from the sidewalk.
Yes, she
Yes.
did.
thank you.
Any other
But-
comments?
But I do want to support what Rick said about the master plan, and they're a stakeholder. What exactly, Madam Chair, is their 100th anniversary celebration month? What's their calendar?
That I don't know. It's spin-off from the tea house. So I don't really know what it is, but it's
Is it in
imminent.
2023? Is it 2023 or 2024?
I think it's 23, but I don't have that. It's probably in the application. But
I didn't.
as I say, I think they probably want to get it done. They're going to redo the entranceway, as you remember. It seemed like an involved project that they had well thought out.
I have another follow-up question for Rick Woodland. How much interaction has the planning board and the master plan effort had with the museum on this specific proposal?
Not on this specific proposal. I'm not aware of any conversation, just in
Okay,
general,
could we
as being
stip-
interviewed and being part of the conversation on the master plan.
Okay.
Also, Madam
Could we
Chair,
stipulate, just as a point of order, can we stipulate that the museum people have at least an informal meeting with the planning board, the master plan people, and get their input?
Suppose. Leo, did
Madam
you have a question?
yeah, Madam Chair, has the museum presented this plan to the Historic Commission for approval? Everybody else in Main Street does.
Oh, no, they know they would have to. They haven't done it
In
yet
other
because
words,
they don't have the funding.
They'll present it after we approve the funding.
Correct. And they won't be able to do exactly what they want if it doesn't fit in with the commission.
I see. It would have been, I think that's the wrong order. Before they ask us for funding, they should be able to present to us that it has been approved by the Historic Commission. But
Yeah.
they're doing things backwards. That's the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
Rick?
And I just found out that the Wenham Museum has been in operation since 1922.
Yeah, I thought so, that it was 22. Yeah. Yeah. Any
Are
other
you looking-
comments?
Are you looking for a motion?
I just have one quick comment. In thinking about what Rick said and a couple of other people, I like the idea of funding this. I love the way it was going to look. Then I think it's kind of like adding something onto your house when 2 or 3 years later, you're going to do a major renovation. And this money might be ill spent right now. If we're talking about, as Rick was saying, talking about doing something nicer around the top of, that area to make, I don't know if a park's the right word. It's just a thought. It's not that I don't want to fund it. I just really feel like, is it a waste? Will that part of it have to be redone?
That the town
Well,
might pay for.
remember that part of this for their 100th anniversary is to attract other members, other donors, and they feel that the entranceway and all is a little scruffy now, and they want to do this. Now, I don't know if they can raise all that money on their own, but I think that's the thinking. I don't think they would want to wait 2 or 3 years. I think you're going to find they're going to try and do it, and it might sour relation. I don't know. I'm putting just thoughts out there. Susan?
Also, I think a master plan in my mind is not a landscape design. This is a landscape design.
Right.
And I think a master plan deals more with hard services, buildings, things like that, not necessarily landscape. So I don't think your master plan, once you get it, is going to say, oh, you have a flowering quince here and a red maple here. It's just not how it goes. So I think this is a different thing.
I thought the plan they showed us last week kind of clashed with the landscape at the town hall, and where it's so close. And I wonder if it should be taken into consideration.
Well, I think Hugh Collins is a fairly competent landscape designer, and
There's no doubt about it.
right. And this is what he came up with. So I would assume Hugh's stuff generally looks really good. So
Madam Chairman, if we're drilling down into design ideas, right, it's the same idea that they did in front of the community house, but they put up a gate and a fence to help keep the kids in and safe from the traffic. I can understand that part. So
Yeah.
I can see why the fence is there.
Yep. Okay.
Trudy has her hand up.
I
Trudy.
just wanted to say, I thought Kristen gave a very good presentation last week. They have been a huge, huge part of this town for years. They cater to everybody who can use them, any age limit, or any age. I think it's a great project. I think it'll look great downtown. I'm actually in favor of this.
Good. Trudy, would you like to make a motion to support it for the moment?
I make a motion to support the application submitted by Wenham Museum.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second it. I'll second it.
Okay. Is there any more discussion? If not, are we ready to vote?
Did you
Okay.
say where the money is coming from?
Oh, excellent. The money would come from the CPA fund balance, Joe?
Yep.
Okay. It's got to be plenty of money there.
Yes, there is.
I think Joe is
There is.
muted.
Okay, so let us vote. We'll start with Trudy.
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes.
Janet, yes.
Alden,
No.
Okay, John,
Yes.
Rick,
Jane,
okay, I still believe the motion carries.
Did you vote,
Okay.
Harriet? Harriet,
I
did you
vote
vote?
yes. Okay. All right. Catherine Tinsley will have fun going over on this
Oh.
meeting. Okay, so that is that. Now we have the Open Space and Recreation Committee is looking for money for the West Wenham Park for 125,000. Is there a motion to support this for the moment?
I
So
move,
moved.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion. It has been made and seconded, and now it's time for discussion.
I think it's a great idea and we should support it.
Okay,
Madam
Rick?
Chairwoman, I think it's a great idea, and here's where I want to talk a little bit about town finances. Because I know things in town are really tight this year, not just in our book. And I think this might be a place where we could help the town out by helping them lower their debt exclusion that they're planning to
Right.
use some of their debt exclusion for this open space playground in West Wenham. The other thing is I have, as a local area person here, spoken to some young parents who thought it would be great to have a walkable space for their kids, or drop-offable space for their kids that is local. So I'd like to ask the committee if we could increase our contribution, which would help the town finances with the debt exclusion, help level that a little bit, but also resurrect what I think is a kind of missed, I've been up there many times, a missed opportunity in West Wenham.
Okay, so Rick, would you like to amend the motion to a new dollar amount?
I'd like to amend the motion to increase our commitment to the West Wenham playfields to 300,000, and for that money to come out of the CP, split equally between open space and the CPC.
No.
I'd like to amend that. I would like to amend the amendment.
Yeah.
I'd like
Can't we
to
just
amend the
take it out of
amendment.
CPA fund balance?
I'd like
Joe,
to
how
take it
much
out of
money is
CPA
there?
balance only, because we haven't spent a dime in open space, and I don't want to get
Right.
into that story again, because I can take a
Right.
half an hour on it.
We'll be here all night.
I'm wide awake. I slept late today, so keep going, Leo. Let's go.
I amend the amendment that we take it all, that we do the extra funding, but take everything, every part of it out of the CPA balance.
I second it.
Okay, let's vote on the amended amendment. Susan,
Yes.
Trudy,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Alden,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
Okay, I vote yes. So it's 300,000 from the CPA fund balance.
Hey, Susan, what's our balance now?
Oh, hang on. Wait a second.
And then we still need to vote on the amendment itself,
I
correct?
feel like I'm
Oh, that's
working
right.
again
Thank
here.
you. We have to go back to the main motion.
Where's Joe?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, so are you
missed you,
keeping
Joe.
track of the CPA fund balance, Joe?
So I've been writing down the amounts. I'm just gonna have to go back. It's just a little it's a little hard with the spreadsheet of in the meeting, but I am writing it down.
Okay, so this is what, 100, how much are we voting on?
300.
300.
Out of the fund balance completely, or I missed that?
Yeah,
Out of
out
the
of the
fund
CPA
balance.
fund balance.
Didn't know we were gonna have such high finances tonight.
Is it specified how the extra money will be spent? I mean, for tennis courts or for grass or for?
I think
we
Rick was saying that
put-
they were asking the town for a certain amount and us for a certain amount. Is that right, Rick?
Yes.
So
and
now
it's just to
we're gonna
defray
fund the
the
whole
amount
thing.
they're asking from the town. I don't know if this is a specific request.
Oh, I see.
255,000.
Oh,
Wait a minute,
Steve,
I just
excuse me,
wanted to be-
Steve.
Oh, Steve just said it was 250 from the town. Steve, is that right?
Yeah, their debt exclusion would be 255,500.
Okay,
That's their
two
request.
fifty-five, and if we give them, they only expected 125, and if we give them 300.
Wait, how much is the debt exclusion?
255, I think he said.
255,500.
Oh, sorry, 255,500.
And
So-
what we asked for from them?
300.
No, what would we ask for originally?
125.
125.
So that's a total of 375, 500. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Just round
So-
it to 100.
so why don't we say 375, 500 we'll give them? Bada bing.
Yeah, I would
Well,
think
then
that would be
taxes.
simpler.
Why
And
not?
does it get rid of the debt exclusion?
Does.
Yep.
Yeah, what,
Now
the
that's
current
a
ask
deal.
for the debt. Yeah, as
Okay,
long as it
thank you.
covers that 255,500. I'm not doing the math as you guys, but yeah, that would.
Okay, so 375.5 total would fund the entire thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we do that? Lower our taxes and
Yep,
one less override,
and
So,
keep the
Madam
money in
Chairwoman-
Wenham.
right?
Madam Chairwoman, I'd like to resubmit my amendment, right?
Okay,
I'd like to resubmit the amendment to say that the CPC will finance at the level of what, say the number again, 375,
Five.
$500 to
Yep.
the West Wenham Playground, and the reason for that is to stop the debt exclusion that they'll need.
right. That
This
picks up, Rick,
thrills
on
me.
what you had talked about before about working
Yeah.
constructively
Working
with the
leaders,
town.
Yes, we got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yes,
Okay, so
Alden.
that
Comment.
means,
So in all of the conversations that I've been a part of so far, this to me really epitomizes what it means to move the town forward.
yes,
This West Wenham playground is it's expanding a wonderful neighborhood community resource, not just fixing something or doing maintenance on something that already is there. So I'm
Right.
very, very strongly in favor of this. I've also heard so many people comment about the tax rates and our tax bills and debt overrides, and I'm so supportive of the idea of avoiding debt overrides. So I'm
Good.
going to be voting yes when the
Good.
roll is
Now-
called.
What do we have now for a motion?
This is when we
This is-
need Catherine Tinsley.
Just what I was thinking.
I
I
think,
think it
well,
was the
Rick made a
entire-
motion. I don't know if it was seconded.
Rick did make a motion for.
I will
for
second Rick's
375.5.
motion to go for 375.5 for the West Wenham recreation improvements
From the CPA fund balance.
from the CPA fund balance. Yes, that's my
this is
second.
great. This is great. No, it really is, because it takes the question off the ballot and everything
Yep.
else. It's just done.
I second the motion.
Okay. All right. Any more
Leo,
discussion?
you're third.
Okay, well,
Leo's
vote
the
yes.
oldest one here in, for length of service, so he's seen it all on CPC. All right, so let's vote on this motion. Susan,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes,
Leo,
yes,
Janet,
Yes.
Alden,
Yes.
Trudy,
Yes.
and I vote yes. So that is unanimous. Good.
Now you have to vote on the main motion because we
Wait.
just voted on the amendment.
On the amendment. So the main motion is what?
was
Uh,
to fund the West Wenham Playground. What did they ask for?
125.
At
So,
120,
shall we-
125,000.
Did we vote that down?
I
No,
think it's a
we
moot,
amended it.
I think it's a moot
Amended it.
point.
Yeah, I think we
I think
amended
we're done.
it. We voted on the amendment.
Okay. Okay.
I think we still need to vote on the original amendment. I wish I had a writer with me.
I know.
Let me just see. Can we hold 1 minute?
Sure. Yep.
I just urgently send out a text to someone who should know.
So,
Good.
Or
Madam
could we just remove the
what we
original
voted on
amendment?
so far was
I'm sorry?
to amend the motion, and now we have to vote to pass the motion.
Hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, let's do it. Because shortly Leo's gonna have his own motion that I know of.
Yeah.
You're
10
right,
more minutes,
Janet.
10 more minutes.
You
So
better talk
I will,
fast.
I will make the motion to pass the original motion as amended.
Second,
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor? Rick,
Aye.
John,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Alden,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes,
Leo,
Yes, I think that's the proper wording.
Trudy.
Yes.
Okay. Now we just have one more
Harriet,
left.
Harriet, how do you vote? I'm sorry, you keep
I'm sorry,
forgetting.
yes. Okay, the last thing we have is Maple Woods would like another 150,000 to complete their project, with Island Grace, so.
Mr.
Can we
Chairman,
take a minute and recap what we have for funding left?
In the CPA balance, I have 1,075,311.32 left. We took 400 out for the tennis courts at the school. We took 87,235 out for the Wenham Museum. And then we took 375,005 out for the West Wenham Playground. That's a total of 862,755 that we've
Sounds
taken
right.
out. So we have $1,075,311.32 left.
Thank you.
That's, I hope I'm right.
Nice job, Susan.
That's
Madam-
nice. Very nice job.
Thank you,
Madam
Susan.
Chair,
Yes,
Madam Chair,
yes, Leo.
this Maple Woods gave us 45 units towards our 12.8% affordable housing.
Mhm.
And they cost us a fraction each, like 30,000 each, a fraction of any of the other affordable housing is. Affordable housing usually cost towns in the vicinity of $200,000 or $300,000. They cost us less than 30,000 apiece. So I
Right.
certainly would vote to give them whatever they're looking for now. It's not too much money, and hope they come back to town in the future with maybe another project when we need it.
Good. Okay. Leo, would you like to make the motion?
I'd
That
like
we
to
will-
move, I'd like to move that we give them what they asked for out of.
150?
Yes, out of the fund balance.
Okay. Is
Second,
there a second?
second.
Are there any questions? Discussion?
Question, clarification, Madam Chair?
Yes.
I believe at the presentation, the Harbor Light folks said that the money would go into solar panels. Did I hear that correctly?
There were a variety of things, energy
It was
related
all
and energy
Energy
saving.
related.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay, I'm fine. Thank you. I second it.
Okay. Any other discussions or questions? If so, we're ready to vote? John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes,
Janet,
yes,
Alden,
Yes.
Trudy.
Yes.
Did I skip anybody? I'll vote yes.
I vote yes.
Susan voted yes. Good. Excellent. That's essentially the end. I would ask Joe, when he comes up for air, if he could put this into a memo to all of us.
sure.
And it's what we're going to be presenting Tuesday to the selectmen. You may have noticed I deferred our minutes. I figured we had enough going on. We didn't need to do that. We probably should have a meeting before town meeting like at noontime, to, if nothing more than to approve the minutes of last week and tonight. Susan?
Yeah, I have one more piece of business that I don't know if
Okay.
it's possible to do. I would like to take $100,000 out of the CPA fund balance and put it into open space.
Can't
Can
do that.
We can't do that? Why?
No.
Let's do
No.
200,000 then.
No.
Okay.
You have to have a project if you have, I see what you're saying, but this will, how much will be left in CPA fund balance?
1,075,311.
And we have almost $1 million in open space and recreation.
Okay.
So
I
if we
want Leo to feel good. I want him to
Madam
leave
Chair.
here feeling good.
Madam Chair?
Yep.
Madam Chair, does that 998 include the 10% that came out of this year's appropriate, this
I
year's?
believe so, although
revenue?
Steve Poulos did not give us that information. I'm assuming he's put in the estimates for next year. Do you know, Steve, if that happened? You may not.
I can
speak.
answer that, yes.
Yeah, we put the 10% is in there. Those, we
Okay.
moved the 10%.
Now, also keep in mind, Steve, do you know what estimate you used for the state match? Did you use the 20%?
That's correct, 20%.
Okay, typically in the past few years, we've gotten more than that, but we have a new governor and we don't know what bill she will sign or not sign. But let's, for the sake of argument, say that we get a 60% match. There'll be more money because 10% of whatever extra will go into open space. That would be probably voted at the next town meeting, not this one. Once we got that money, if we had a fall town meeting, it might be voted at that point, depending on timing. Typically, we get matches in November. Remember, we get 3 rounds because we've signed up for 3%, where Hamilton only signed up for a 2% surcharge, so they typically only get 1 round of state match. So.
Madam Chair, just if I may comment, I just want to commend Steve and Joe and many others at Town Hall and yourself, Madam Chair, for the extra work that you put into pulling all these numbers together from years and years and years of records and putting a tremendous effort forward. It's really helped our committee. I feel really much more confident going forward. So I think they need us all to give them a little tip of the hat, including
Definitely.
you, Harriet.
They're here, they're here.
Thank you, Alvin. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other business for the meeting tonight? Before I call on Leo.
One thing I'd like us to consider for a little bit of media coverage is that when we are able and the town does approve these things, I think we probably want to have a little ceremony, maybe with the people who receive the grants, somehow pull them together, either virtually or in person, and thank them for their application and wish them well, so that we can
Yeah, we
keep
can do
fostering
that.
this goodness to people.
Yeah, that's a good
Absolutely.
idea.
Yep.
Excuse
Margaret?
me. Yeah, Harriet, I wanted to let the committee know that Maple Woods is looking to have a photo opportunity with members of the CPC committee, as well as select board and I think the Affordable Housing Trust members. So they
Good.
want to get out, get people out there, not an official grand opening, but a little ceremony. So I know if any members of this committee are interested in getting on that.
Good, thank you.
I am if I get to wear a hard hat, Margaret.
Absolutely. I have a pink one.
Nice.
If we can get those. I'll
Madam
give the dates to you so that you know when that's going to be
Okay,
taking place.
John?
I just have a question regarding the meeting you proposed to have. And it sounded like you were saying at noontime, the day of
Yep.
the town meeting.
Right.
And so I just wondered, the purpose of that meeting is what? And
To close out the year, approve the minutes of tonight and our prior meeting, and handle anything that should come in over the transept. It probably takes about 5 minutes. Otherwise, what happens is next fall, when the committee reconvenes, you've got the minutes hanging over you, and it would be better to have them all cleaned up and approved.
No, that's helpful. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mhm.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move adjournment.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I don't
Aye.
think we even go around. Is there anybody against it? Motion approved. So
Great
we'll see
meeting.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have a
all.
good night.
Good
All
night.
right.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Have a good
Take
night.
care. Good night.